This is Galaxy Television News, our top stories. President Buhari received certificates of incorporation of the NNPC Limited, saying the country expects nothing less than the realization of a global national oil company. INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu cautions the general public against multiple registrations, saying it is prohibited by law. And outside Nigeria, a powerful explosion hit a mosque in the northern Afghan city of Kunduz during the Friday prayers, killing at least 6 people. Those are top stories. Details coming your way shortly. This is Galaxy Television News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Solomon Offem. President Muhammadu Buhari Friday received the certificate of incorporation of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, saying the country expects nothing less from the board of directors, the chief executive officer, and the chief finance officer than the realization of a global national oil company that Nigeria desires and deserves. Under the recently signed Petroleum Industry Act (PIA), the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) was expected to transform to a limited liability company, a fact that has now been accomplished. In his remarks, Group Managing Director of NNPC, Mele Kyari, said the incorporation was history made again, a massive transformation from what we know to where we are going. Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Alhaji Garba Abubakar, said the registration accomplished within 24 hours has complied with all requirements of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA, and the PIA. The slogan of the new company is one with largest capitalization of 200 billion naira in the country. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, has given a breakdown of the 2022 appropriation bill, which was presented before a joint session of the National Assembly on Thursday. President Muhammadu Buhari, who made the presentation, proposed a total of 16.39 trillion naira as estimated spending for the 2022 fiscal. Given the breakdown in Abuja Friday, the minister said the pervasive security challenges across Nigeria necessitated massive expenditures on security equipment and operations in the budget-tagged budget of economic growth and sustainability. The minister stated that Nigeria's debt level is low and sustainable compared to other neighboring countries, and that the problem Nigeria has is revenue challenges. She said government aims at optimizing the operational efficiency and revenue generation system to improve the dwindling revenue of the country.
On enterprises revenues, this revenue is 24.8% higher than the 2021 projection of 8.12 trillion. Without the government-owned enterprises revenue, the FGN revenue will be 8.4 trillion. To promote fiscal transparency, accountability, and comprehensiveness, allocations to TED Fund and the budget of 63 government-owned enterprises are integrated into the 2022 Federal Government of Nigeria budget proposals. This represents 3.39% of the gross domestic product. Budget deficit is to be financed mainly by borrowings, domestic and foreign, at the rate of 2.5 trillion each.
In the wake of the presentation of the 2022 budget estimates by President Muhammadu Buhari, lawmakers are tasking him on full implementation, accountability, and positive impact on Nigerians when passed. In the separate reactions, the lawmakers expressed mixed feelings over the habit of borrowing to fund budget. They said the success of any budget lies in its prompt cash backing and the ability of the budget to impact on the lives of the citizens.
The budget of this year in the president target as the budget of the growth and security, economic survival, and he even mentioned the security aspect in it. So with this, at least I know there is hope in the budget this year.
We remain concerned about debt servicing, particularly when a huge chunk of the recurrent and was going to be funded through domestic and international loans. I personally believe that we have borrowed enough. We should see whatever growth in our GDP from domestic production before we begin to talk about additional borrowing.
The Director General of the National Biosafety Management Agency, NBMA, Dr. Rufus Ebegba, says the agency is working on genetically modified maize, which is brought drought-tolerant and insect-resistant. Ebegba said these are the National Biosafety Management Agency's public presentation of drought-tolerant and fall armyworm resistance maize, Tela maize, of the Institute of Agricultural Research. Said farmers will have higher yields, more than what other maize will produce, even with less chemicals used, and the control of pests, which will enhance higher productivity. Executive Director of the Institute of Agricultural Research, Mohammed Ishaku, said Tela maize is estimated to prevent 80% yield loss in its harvest and will save the nation about 268 billion naira, which is usually spent on pest control insecticide annually.
If all our maize hectarage is being grown to this new variety, then we are going to save all of that 268 billion naira every year.
This program is basically to make the members of the public aware of an application which was filed in by Institute of Agricultural Research for a permit for a genetically modified maize that has the ability to tolerate runs, to tolerate drought, and also have insect resistance ability. Confirm this product safe.
This is Galaxy Television News. Time for us to go for a break. When we come back, INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu cautions the general public against multiple registrations, saying it is prohibited by law. We'll bring you details of that and more when we come back from our break. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying tuned. This is Galaxy Television News. For more updates and latest news, visit our website, galaxytvonline.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV Nigeria. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp if you have breaking news around you. Simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. The federal government has restated its commitment to provide quality and improved education in the country through adequate funding. This was stated by Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who emphasized on need to sustaining the tempo of funding and infrastructural development in the educational sector. Professor Osinbajo stated these are the 31st convocation ceremony of the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna, in honor of the cadets of the 68th regular course. The Vice President, who served as the special guest of honor at the occasion, was represented by the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salihu Mogashu, retired, while the Commandant of the Academy, Major General Ibrahim Yusuf, said the graduates will contribute to human capacity of the country.
I'm very confident of the quality of the graduates we are turning out in support of human capital needs of the country. While felicitating with you, the graduates, let me remind you of your obligation to be good ambassadors of this great institution in whatever capacity and environment you may find yourselves in the future.
These challenges which most nations face, we have invested vital resources in confronting our national problems, and we will continue to do so across all facets of our economy and polity. As part of our commitment to these great institutions, we shall sustain the tempo of funding and infrastructure facilities to ensure a conducive learning environment.
Chairman of the National Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, Mahmood Yakubu, has cautioned the general public against multiple registrations, saying it is prohibited by law. Mahmood Yakubu made this disclosure while addressing a meeting of the Commission and political parties held at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja Friday. He held that technology has revealed double registration of voters in the forthcoming election in Anambra State, saying new PVCs will not be printed for the uncovered double registered persons, as the old PVCs remain valid and can be used in their respective polling unit. The INEC chairman assured that the Commission will continue to deploy appropriate technology to improve the electoral process. Chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, Leonard Nzemwa, on his part, said that measures has been put in place to take hideous and tame hideous attacks that can deter a number of people from expressing their political will.
In the process of cleaning up the registration data, we discovered that many previously registered persons actually re-registered afresh. As a testimony to the effectiveness of our new system for checking double and multiple registrations, the Commission found out that some 62,698 persons who are already registered as voters in Anambra State went ahead to register again.
Not only strategic, but it is a well-thought-out intervention to seek out a more creative, humane, and result-oriented means to address a hard-headed, anarchical side brush that needs to be tamed urgently and immediately to allow the good people of Anambra State to express their political will and elect a candidate of their choice as the next governor of the state.
Still on INEC, over 50,000 polling units will be in use for the forthcoming gubernatorial election in Anambra State. Resident Electoral Commissioner in charge of Anambra State, Nwachukwu Oji, at the parley between INEC in Anambra State and the Civil Society Situation Room held to enlighten Nigerians on the forthcoming elections. Dr. Oji said the election will be unique because 50,720 polling units will be involved in the polls with 326 wards. on the destroyed INEC facilities in the state. The RAC revealed that such facilities have been refurbished, but complained of poor campaign trends by political parties due to the insecurity in the region.
We have identified infrastructural needs and how to meet them. We are working on them. It's a work in progress. We have part of our infrastructure. In fact, if you come to the office as of today, there are civil works going on everywhere because our offices were basically destroyed in May. But it also affects other offices. I remember clearly during the NSAS protest, we lost 3 offices in Newi, Idemili, and partly Ekusigo. We have managed to recover them and then, finalizing works on them.
This promise has not been only been postponed twice, but also appears to be suffering from protracted delays. With the conference committees of both chambers of the National Assembly constituted to harmonize the bill, it will be recalled that the National Assembly, particularly the Senate, had included the unconstitutional provision in its version of the electoral bill, which subjects the functions of the Independent National Electoral Commission to the control and approval of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC.
And now to party politics ahead of the State Congress of the All Progressives Congress. The Oyo State chapter is set to hold a crucial stakeholders meeting on Monday to conclude on its planned zoning arrangement for the next set of State Executive Committee members. The Catholic Extraordinary and Convention Planning Committee, CECPC, of the party led by the Governor of Yobe State, Alhaji Mai Malabuni, had shifted the date of the state congresses by 2 weeks from the initial October 2, 2021, having successfully conducted the nationwide ward and local government congresses on July 31 and September 4, respectively. The state caretaker chairman, Chief Akinyoke, in a statement called for calm and decorum among gladiators as well as other stakeholders, including party faithful and supporters. The caretaker chairman warned all overzealous elements to caution themselves against actions capable of raising fear and suspicion, as the party resolved to prioritize only activities that will be in the overall interest of the party. The People's Democratic Party has restated its decision to swap its position between the North and South. In an emergency National Executive Committee held in Abuja, the party approved the recommendation of its committee on zoning, which suggested that the position of the national chairman be zoned to the North. National Publicity Secretary of the party, Kola Ologmodiyan, who expressed and addressed journalists after the emergency meeting, maintained that all positions of the party currently occupied by people from the South will go to the North, and those occupied by people from the North will go to the South. Earlier at the meeting, the acting national chairman of the party, Elder Yemi Akinwumi, underscored the importance of the meeting, which he said was for the survival of the party. The meeting was also an opportunity for the former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, to vent his opinion on the zoning principles of the party.
I call on all of us to critically look at the 2 reports and make meaningful contributions. Approve them so that PDP can remain the only party to beat in Africa. With the composition of elder statesmen as members of the party, I have no doubt in my mind that we will do what is right, correct, and good for Nigeria and Nigeria.
Where the president comes from has never been the problem of Nigeria, and I can cite examples. Neither will it be the solution. There is no such thing as a president from southern Nigeria or a president from northern Nigeria. There is only a president from Nigeria, for Nigeria, by Nigerians.
I appeal, therefore, to the great leaders of our party to muster every wisdom and experience, decorum, in addressing the issues. And also, that interest should be the interest of our great party. And the interest of our party is, by the grace of God, for us to win 2023 elections.
I want to appeal all members of NEF, please don't come here with an issue which will not help this party. We are ready to go together. We are ready to participate and continue to be one.
Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi's report on zoning, and NEC approved the zoning as presented, which, as you understand, the positions that are in the south will go to the north, and the positions that are in the north will go to the south.
We're taking our first story again, this time a fuller version. President Muhammadu Buhari Friday received the certificate of incorporation of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, saying the country expects nothing less from the board of directors, the chief executive officers and the chief finance officer than the realization of a global national oil company that Nigeria deserves and desires. Under the recently signed Petroleum Industry Act (PIA), the NNPC was expected to transform to a limited liability company, a fact that has now been accomplished. In his remarks, Group Managing Director of NNPC, Mele Kyari, said the incorporation was history made again, a massive transformation from what we know to where we are going. Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Alhaji Garba Abubakar, said the registration accomplished within 24 hours has complied with all requirements of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA, and the PIA, disclosing that the new company is one with largest capitalization of 200 billion naira in the country.
Excellency, this is history made again. The NNPC itself was incorporated during your tenure as the Minister of Petroleum Resources in 1976. Today is another threshold of history where the NNPC is now becoming a limited liability company under the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act. This, no doubt, is a massive transformation from what we know to where we are going. And not only the Excellency, in the last 6 years, significant progress has been made under your leadership, and this company has changed. It's much more responsive. It has delivered much more value to its shareholders under your clear guidance, Mr. President.
The registration has complied with all laid down requirements as provided in the Companies and Allied Matters Act and the Petroleum Industry Act. All requisite fees have been paid to the Corporate Affairs Commission and to the stamp duty account.
I am delighted to welcome you all for the presentation of the Certificate of Incorporation of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. My expectation is for a speedy transition by taking all necessary steps required to transfer assets, human and material, and without wasting time, capitalize the company as required by the Petroleum Industry Act.
The World Health Organization, WHO, is recommending widespread use of the world's first malaria vaccine for the decades-long battle against the deadly disease for children at risk. The vaccine is geared towards children in sub-Saharan Africa and other regions with moderate to high transmission. Galaxy's Tife Tanimomo takes it from here.
According to World Health Organization, WHO, in 2019, there was an estimated 229 million cases of malaria worldwide. Its estimated number of malaria deaths at 409,000 in 2019. children aged under 5 years are the most vulnerable group affected by malaria. In 2019, they accounted for 67%, that's 274,000 of all malaria deaths worldwide. Nigeria has the highest rate of malaria infection in the world.
The vaccine approval is a good tiding. It becomes one of the key instruments to use to achieve our malaria elimination program by 2030. Malaria, more than 900 years old disease that has killed quite a lot of number of people in about 140 countries, and more than 200 million infection, and killing every year about 500,000 people. Majority of them in sub-Saharan Africa, and Nigeria happens to be one of the leading countries with malaria endemicity. And the people targeted are mainly under 5 children and pregnant women. Those are the key people that are suffering malaria. Now, if you look at the cost, malaria is cost in terms of treatment and drugs, is costing as much as 12 billion every year. Not to talk of loss of work and other psychological effects. It's a powerful infection that push for, push children to malnutrition and anemia, shortage of blood, including pregnant women. And in fact, it's the leading cause of premature delivery in this part of the world and maternal mortality. So malaria has that kind of significance.
Malaria remains a primary cause of childhood illness and death in sub-Saharan Africa. More than 260,000 African children under the age of 5 die from malaria annually. Stakeholders further advocate policies such that will ensure the effect of the vaccine felt to the grassroots, as well as health campaigns to help sensitize people more on the disease.
First and foremost, malaria is a disease of the poor people, poor country, underdeveloped country. Malaria is a disease of inequality because essentially it affects the rural people more, affects children under 5 more, and women. And thirdly, we have a lot of diseases to contend with in the nation, which will require equal attention. So now, and then fourthly, we are actually constrained in terms of resources. The best thing is actually to move the manufacturing of those malaria vaccines to this part of the world, in sub-Saharan Africa, at least 2 or 3 countries in South Africa. At least Nigeria should actually push for the vaccine to be manufactured here, or even to be completed, manufactured to be completed in this part of the world. So that will help us in terms of access and in terms of raising critical skill. Apart from that, we must not lose sight of other methods of preventing malaria, rapid diagnosis and treatment, chemoprophylaxis, larval control, vector control. We must also drive those things. And then we still have to allow people to sleep under nets, because what are we trying to achieve? Yes, we want to reduce the severity of the malaria with the vaccine, but we must also be able to reduce the transmission of malaria.
If you have a government in place that is interested in the masses, where the poor people belong to, they will set in motion machineries that will make sure that those vaccines get to them. Their interest has to do with what? Their inner caucus interest. How do we corner the resources and make ourselves more comfortable than the comfort level we were enjoying before? That is the tragedy of the Nigerian state. That is why when you're talking about malaria and its effect and how it's going to get to the masses, until we get people who are public-minded, who are public-spirited, who have the interest of the masses at heart, it will never be an issue at the National Assembly. It will never be the concern of the federal government. It will never be an interest to the executive.
It is so unfortunate that the kind of enlightenment that government is supposed to be giving people as regards the way malaria kills in our environment, government has not been doing it. Our civil society organizations, our crusaders, activists should rise up to this and ensure that whatever money is being appropriated to treatment of malaria is properly and appropriately disbursed to sort that issue.
Here in Lagos, Tife Tanimomo, reporting for Galaxy Television News.
The French government says Nigeria's timely intervention at tackling the COVID-19 pandemic prevented the doomsday prediction from becoming reality on the continent. A France ambassador to Nigeria, Jerome Pasquale, made this submission Friday as the French government donates 500,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines to Nigeria. Galaxy's Godfrey Shimuge was at the National Primary Healthcare Development Strategic Cold Store in Abuja, venue of the event, and now report.
France is the latest country to donate COVID-19 vaccines to Nigeria, giving a total of 501,600 doses. This brings the total number of doses Nigeria has received in donations so far to about 10 million. The French ambassador to Nigeria, Jerome Pasquale, hails the approach of Nigerian authorities in tackling the outbreak of the pandemic.
If you remember what was said 2 years ago, 18 months ago, everybody was announcing a big catastrophe in Africa, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen because you reacted very well, because you have a very good system, and I think we can really praise you for the action of the President Task Force, for the action of all the institutes involved, and of course of NPHCDA too. For the time being, the number of deaths in Nigeria from COVID is, well, always too high, but reasonably low if you compare with countries, even with my country.
The ambassador says France will not bar any Nigerian access to their country if they give proof of vaccination.
For several weeks now, the borders are fully open for Nigerians who are fully vaccinated. So if you have a proof of vaccination, as Atimi said, you can go to France. You do not need to have a COVID test before boarding the plane. You do not need to have quarantine when you are in France. And you can, with your certificate from Nigeria, you can get the sanitary pass, which is required in some places to enter restaurants, museums, and so on.
Meanwhile, the World Health Organization, WHO, says it is looking forward to achieving vaccination of 40% of the Nigerian population eligible to take the vaccines. To this, the Primary Health Care Development Agency says vaccine availability will prove crucial in this direction.
We are looking forward to having at least 40% of the Nigerian population vaccinated by end of this year using different vaccines that are approved by NAFDAC. And AstraZeneca is one of them. It was the very first approved.
Up to 40%. The aspiration is that up to 40% of population should be vaccinated by the end of December. Of course, those proportions are dependent on the availability of vaccines. If the vaccines are not available, then it's hard to meet numbers without vaccinating the individuals. But as long as the vaccines are there, we are optimistic that we'll be able to reach these targets that have been set by WHO.
Godfrey Shimuge, Galaxy News, Abuja.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen,
no fewer than 100 youths will be engaged in a weekly basis in learning about the culture, history, and politics of America through books and over 300 online publications. U.S. Consulate Public Affairs Officer Stephen Ibeli disclosed this at the opening of Abeokuta Window on America at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, OOPL, Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The Abeokuta Window on America is a type of American space located in over 150 countries worldwide, set up to engage Nigerian youths in learning about American culture, history, and politics. He noted that the space would further deepen the U.S.-Nigeria relationship.
We have databases where academics can come and do research, or undergraduates or graduates, because we have connections to many, many databases and periodicals in the United States. And then we have some of these set programmings, like Speak with a Diplomat, like Speak with an Alumni. This also is home to all of our alumni in Abeokuta, a really active group, to be able to run their own programs, to do their own types of initiatives. And so the only thing we really ask is that they do it for the community and that they do it for free.
The Alafin of Oyo, Oba Lamidi Adeyemi, has called for calm as more people continue to visit Oyo, especially because of the tree that fell, killed 4 persons, and re-emerged. It was gathered that the tree was planted by a Sango devotee and a farmer about 80 years ago. Correspondent Kunle Ojo completes the story.
The tree was said to have been planted about 80 years ago by a Sango devotee and a farmer, Tijani Adeleke of Asunara Compound, Sabo, Oyo, in Oyo town. Findings revealed that it was planted based on the ingenuity of Adeleke to serve as a relaxation spot for those who farm along the area. It also served as a meeting point for the urban and rural residents who used to bring their farm produce to the village markets in the area. It was gathered that a rainstorm accompanied with a thunder strike led to the falling of the tree a few days ago, which claimed about 4 lives.
But unfortunately, we discovered that many people have been killed and some have been hospitalized.
However, barely 24 hours after the incident, news started trending in Oyo and its environs on the re-emergence of the tree. Reasons for this could not be ascertained as different people attributed the incident to different factors.
But this morning we come to see what really happened, and to our surprise, we discovered that the tree still stood upright.
The news went viral that the tree was returned back to its stand. When the weights were removed by the people, the branches were cut off to pave way for the motorists and the people passing. Automatically, when the weight was removed, the remains stems will go back to its normal.
The paramount ruler in Oyo, Oba Lamidi Adeyemi, also visited the spot to ascertain the level of damage done and sympathized with the family of the victims. The incident was the first of its kind in the area. From Oyo, Kunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.
Nollywood actor Chiwetella Agu has been released from the custody of the Nigerian Army 82 Division in Enugu. The Nigerian actor was arrested yesterday by the Nigerian Army at Upper Iweka, Onitsha, Anambra State, for putting on what the Army described as Biafra regalia. Following his arrest, a number of Nigerians, including his Nollywood colleagues, called for his release after a viral video of him being dragged on the floor went viral, with another showing him sitting on bare floor at the Army cantonment. The actor, who posed for a photograph with his Nollywood colleagues after his release, has now been reunited with his family. Meanwhile, the Director, Army Public Relations, Onyema Mwachukwu, in a statement, said the actor was arrested for inciting members of the public. The Correctional Center in Ondo State has been declared as a red zone by the Controller General of the Nigerian Correctional Center, Aliru Nababa. The Controller of Corrections in the state, Okweyemi Fatinukun, disclosed this at the news conference in Akure. According to him, the decision by the Controller General is to guarantee safety of inmates and ensure that they are well protected. Fatinukun, however, assured and advised people who do not have any business at the centers to stay away.
Controller General Alaji Ariu Nambaba, MNI, has directed us that our correctional center nationwide, especially in Ondo State, is now a red zone. If you don't have business there, don't come near us because we have been directed to shoot aside, and we are ready to do that.
Delta Police Command says it has rescued a kidnapped victim who was abducted on the 4th of October at Koko Junction in Delta State. The female victim, according to a statement by the Delta Police spokesman, Daffy Bright, was traveling to Lagos before a 3-man robbery gang kidnapped the lady after her boyfriend escaped from the truck he was driving. Intelligence gathering, according to the police, led to the rescue of the lady in the forest along the expressway, while a suspect identified as Emosiri Umukoro was arrested, with the other members of the gang escaping into the forest. The rescued victim, according to the police, identified the arrested suspects, while manhunt for the fleeing suspect is ongoing. Authorities of the Oyo State Police Command have declared that the police officer who was said to have robbed a victim identified as Emmanuel Jesugbemi is not an officer of the command. The officer was said to have robbed his victim of his handset and cash of 150,000 naira. According to a statement by the public relations officer of the command, Abdiwale Osifeso, the officer has no link with the Akpata division of the command, as claimed by the victim. He added that the command frowned at the misconduct and that the matter was immediately escalated through an investigative inquiry set up by the Commissioner of Police, Oyo State Police Command, CP Ngozi Onodeko. He added that investigations are in top gear to apprehend all the officers involved in the unpleasant actions. As part of efforts to engage the student community in the campaign against cybercrime, the Ibadan commander of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Kanu Idagu, has advised youths to desist from cybercrime. He gave this charge while delivering a lecture on information and communication technology and social order of the Department of Sociology, Faculty of Social Sciences, University of Ibadan. Kanu, who was represented by the head of economic governance of the command, chief superintendent of the EFCC, David Nkwe, defined cybercrime as any form of illegal acts perpetrated by using the internet and other electronic means to obtain money from unsuspecting victims. He advised the youths to focus on self-development and redirect their energy into positive activities that will benefit them and the society. According to him, EFCC is exploring all avenues to dissuade Nigerians from embracing corrupt practices, thereby putting a dent on the country's reputation. Up next is stories from our international scene.
Welcome to news from the international scene. A powerful explosion has hit a mosque in the northern Afghan city of Kunduz during Friday prayers, killing at least 6 people, officials say. Images posted on social media, said to be of the aftermath of the blast, show extensive damage in the mosque. Used by the minority Shia Muslim community, the death toll is expected to rise. Sunni Muslim extremists have often targeted members of the Shia community in the past because they consider them to be heretics. In a short statement posted to Twitter, a Taliban spokesman said a number of people have been killed and injured. A doctor in Kunduz told journalists at least 6 deaths have been reported at a private hospital. No group has said it was behind the explosion, but ISK, a franchise of the wider Islamic State group, have repeatedly targeted Afghanistan Shia minority in the past. The group, which is violently opposed to the Taliban, have carried out several bombings in the country recently, largely in the east of the country. The continuation of violence even after the Taliban takeover in August have been met with dismay by ordinary Afghans. The Taliban took control of Afghanistan after foreign forces withdrew from the country following a deal between the U.S. and the Taliban 2 decades after U.S. forces removed the militant from power in 2001. Now in India, the son of an Indian federal minister who was summoned by police for questioning has failed to turn up. Ashish Mishra was called in 6 days after he was accused in an attack that left 8 people dead. A car linked to his father, Junior Home Minister Ajay Mishra, plowed into protesting farmer in Uttar Pradesh state on Sunday, killing 4 men. Farmers alleged that Ashish Mishra was behind the attack, but the Mishras denied the charge. An angry mob then beat to death 3 men in the car, including the driver. A journalist also died in the violence. Police arrested 2 men in connection with the incident on Thursday, hours after the Supreme Court asked for a report on the investigation. State officials also appointed a retired judge to head a commission that would probe the attack. But on Friday, the top court said that they were not satisfied with the step taken by the state government and asked the police why the minister's son have not been arrested when he was accused of a serious crime like murder. Chief Justice N.V. Namana said the court also disapproved of a special investigation team set up by the state government, since the people in the commission are all local officers. His comments came during a hearing in court after 2 lawyers from Uttar Pradesh wrote to the Chief Justice seeking a federal investigation into the incident. The violence, which took place in Lankimpur district on Sunday, marks a dramatic escalation in a 10-month-old protest against agricultural reform that the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party government passed without substantive discussion in Parliament last year. Tens of thousands of farmers have been sitting on the outskirts of Delhi since November, demanding that the law must be repealed. Still on the international scene, a U.S. nuclear submarine hit an unknown object while submerged in water in the Asia-Pacific region, injuring a number of sailors, U.S. officials say. It was not clear what caused the incident on Saturday. The submarine remained fully operational. Unnamed officials told U.S. media the collision happened in international waters in the South China Sea and that 11 sailors have been injured. The incident happened amid rising tensions in the region. The U.S. Navy said the extent of the damage was still being assessed and that the submarine's nuclear propulsion plants and spaces have not been affected. The statement did not give details about where the incident took place or the number of people hurt, saying only that the injuries were not life-threatening. But 2 officials quoted by newsmen said 2 of the 11 sailors that were hurt had injuries that were classified as moderate. All of them were treated on board the submarine. Those officials said the incident took place while the submarine was conducting routine operations and that the Navy did not make the news public before Thursday in order to maintain operational security. The officials said the object the USS Connecticut collided with was not another submarine. One of the officials quoted said it could have been a sunken vessel or container or other uncharted objects. And lastly, on the international scene, journalists Maria Ressa and Dmitry Muratov have won the Nobel Peace Prize for their fight to defend freedom of expression in the Philippines and Russia. The Nobel Committee called the pair representative of all journalists who stand for this ideal. The winners of the prestigious prize, worth 10 million Swedish krona, which is equivalent to $1.1 million, were announced at the Norwegian Nobel Institute in Oslo. They were chosen out of 329 candidates. Ms. Ressa, who co-founded the news site Rappler, was commended for using freedom of expression to expose power abuse, use of violence, and growing authoritarianism in a native country, the Philippines. In a live broadcast by Rappler, Ms. Ressa said she was in shock. She said her win showed that nothing is possible without facts. A world without facts means a world without truth and trust. In a statement, Rappler said it was honored and astounded that its chief executive have been given the prize. The Nobel Committee said Mr. Muratov, the co-founder and editor of independent newspaper Novaya Gazeta, had for decades defended the freedom of speech in Russia under increasingly challenging conditions. In an interview with the popular Telegram channel Podium, Mr. Muratov said, "I'm laughing. I didn't expect this at all. It's madness here." He called the prize retribution for Russian journalism, which is being repressed now. The editor was congratulated by Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, who said he persistently works in accordance with his own ideals, he is devoted to them, he is talented, he is brave. The Nobel Peace Prize is intended to honor an individual or organization that have done the most or the best work for fraternity between nations. And that's it from the international scene.
Entertainment news is up next.
Welcome to Entertainment News. The screen diva whose sense of style has earned her a place in the Nigerian fashion scene did not disappoint her fans and followers as she first released gorgeous photos to celebrate her birthday. The much-loved actress took to her Instagram page to thank God and say a word of prayer to her fans, asking God to keep them all and to make them happy always. Happy birthday, Shafi, from all of us at Galaxy Television. Nigerian music star Tiwa Savage has revealed that she's being blackmailed with a sex tape. According to her, she got to find out about the blackmail after her road manager sent her the tape while she was leaving a studio station in her car. Savage cleared the air about the blackmailer being a current partner and says it is a video of her and a current partner. She shared that she has refused to pay the sum the blackmailer is demanding as she is not sure if they will demand again or release the video anyways. She also says that she would not allow anyone to blackmail her for doing something that is natural. It is not clear if the mother of one has reported the case to the police. Veteran Nollywood actor Chinwe Taluago has denounced the claim that he was campaigning for the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. The veteran actor was seen speaking for the first time since his arrest. According to the comic actor, he was wearing a civil outfit and not a Biafran regalia, as the Nigerian Army claims. Speaking further at the Army Division in Onitsha, Agu denied the campaign for IPOB. He stated that he was sharing bread moments before he was picked up by the army. Moving on to Big Brother, Baby Naija star Sadi has lost his mother, Felicia Oluwanike Ate, to the cold hands of death. The reality TV star took to his Instagram page to share the sad news along an obituary poster saying his world has changed as his mother has gone. He further says there is no consolation for his loss. The wedding anniversary of the founder of Mount Zion Ministries, Evangelist Mike and Gloria Bamiloye, clocked 30. The wedding anniversary celebration took place at RCCG House on the Rock Parish. The RCCG K-Team celebrated their 30th anniversary in grand style as they began with a variety and sporting event. Evangelist Mike and Gloria Bamiloye started their marriage as young people who had the desire to serve God through the drama ministry. Their marriage is now blessed with 3 wonderful children. And that is all for Entertainment News.
And with those entertainment news, we end this news. That's on Galaxy Television. For more updates and latest news, visit our website, galaxytvonline.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV Nigeria. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. And that's the news. I'm Solomon Offem. Bye-bye.